Good day, and welcome to Hiroshima University's English Podcast.
広島大学イングリッシュポッドキャスト異文化ディスカッションへようこそ。この番組異文化ディスカッションでは、広島大学に学ぶ留学生をゲストに招き、東広島での学生生活や身近な話題について英語で話してもらいます。広島大学のKai、パーリーン、そしておなじみ K の3人を迎えてのトークの第2回をお届けします。この3人と聞き手のジョー・ラウアーさんが今回も異文化に触れる時に起こる様々な摩擦について語り合います。それではごゆっくりどうぞ。
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our cross-culture talk today. And again, we're talking about the very important topic of friction between cultures. And before we talk about it today, I'd like to ask each of you how your English got so good. What was your secret to learning English well?
Let's start with the American.
Let's start with
Pearline.
Let's go with Pearline.
Hello,
I'm an American.
Okay.
My secret was to be an American.
Okay, good. And how about you, Kay? What was your secret?
Maybe because I love English, or not only English but also languages. So I think to love something is the best way to get it. So.
Okay.
Wow.
What spurred you to love it, studying English, though?
I don't know. Maybe the teachers in my junior high school were so good.
Wow.
And also there are a lot of foreign friends of my mother surrounding me. So I think the environment was kind of good. Yeah.
Really important to have good teachers. Kai?
Yeah, related to the environment. Well, in the Philippines, like you could see English in the society itself. Like when you want to enter like companies, you need to have English skills, and like most of the documents, government documents, are written in English. So
is English your first language?
No, it's not my first language, but it's part of the education.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, I learned English in school.
Like, what is your first language?
That's actually a hard question for me.
I'm so sorry.
But
sorry,
since my mom is Japanese,
yes,
the first language I really learned was Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, but since my environment was in the Philippines, like when I started going to school, all my friends talked in Filipino.
Okay.
And then I started learning English as well.
Okay.
So I could say that, maybe both Japanese and Filipino.
Okay. Everyone, actually, his Japanese is so good, by the way.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you.
And how about other languages? What other languages have you studied besides English and Japanese?
I can speak Japanese only because I was here for like 10 years. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Anything else? Another language? French, Spanish, Chinese, anything?
I learned Chinese, German, and Thai.
Wow.
But only a bit
Wow.
of each.
A bit of each.
A bit of each.
Okay.
Like, and Thai, I want to emphasize that Thai is really easy to learn, actually. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try that then.
Yeah. Go to YouTube. There are a lot of programs.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah, actually,
idea.
for me right now, I'm actually learning a little bit of Thai as
Oh,
well.
really?
Because I'm
Saudi
interested
ka.
in... Yeah, Saudi crab. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yes,
And,
it
and
is.
Kai, what do you think is the best way to learn these other languages? You've learned several of them.
I mean, this is a really funny thing, but my dad told me this because my dad is a pure Filipino, right? But right now, he speaks good Japanese. He even preaches in Japanese in church. So he told me, I mean, jokingly told me, if you want to master the language of that country, get a girl. So and that's what he did. So that's why.
What about me? What do I have?
You get a friend.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe the thing here is like getting people to actually help you learning that language.
Yeah.
Your dad is so cool.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I've also learned several languages as an adult. First, again, was kind of French back in junior high school, but I didn't like French. I hated French.
Why?
Why do we need to learn these words? There was no reason.
So it was
Why?
But then when I
Why?
was in the university as a third-year student, so very late, I went to Europe for 3 months. And there I learned that French is fun.
Okay.
I learned finally, if you go abroad as a university student even, your life can change for the better. And then, of course, after college, I learned Arabic in Morocco and also Spanish. In America, I have Spanish friends, and I lived in Guatemala for a bit. And in the last 20 years, as an old person, I've studied Chinese, and even at an old age, I can learn. You can learn another language, I think. At least you make mistakes, but you can learn to some extent. So today we're talking about culture friction again. And I'd like to ask each of you, do you have friends from different cultures?
Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Lots.
For example, of course you have Japan. Any other cultures?
Chinese, Korean. I think there are a lot of Asian exchange students in
Thailand.
Hiroshima University.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, also some Europeans and Americans.
Do you ever have any bad experience with them, or is it basically all good experiences? Can you imagine one kind of experience where it seems strange, or...
It is not a bad or strange situation, but I want to talk about one friend from... Where is it? Iran. She was Muslim, so of course she has to pray several times a day, and also there are some specific food that she cannot eat.
Okay.
So every time we go to like restaurants or when we have party together, we have to know what she can eat and what she cannot eat. And of course, Japanese dishes have a lot of alcohol meeting in.
That's true.
Yeah. And sometimes we cannot tell, so every time we go to like Japanese restaurant together, we have to ask the waitress whether they have alcohol or something or not. So that's one of the hardest part.
It just seems a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
right?
but it's fun. It's fun.
No problem at all. That's right. Anything else?
For
strange
me,
experience?
when I went to Malaysia.
Okay.
I went there when I was a high school student, and I went to a Malaysian school, and I met some pen pals that I had in Malaysia, and we were playing a game group. So it was like a group, and we were a group of 5, and then we played against another group. And I knew, since all of the students in that school were Muslim, I knew that I wasn't allowed to have any, I wasn't allowed to touch the other
like
gender.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like very careful about that, not to like bump my shoulders with the other boys. But when my group won the whole game, I was so excited. I high-fived a boy. Yeah, and that guy, he didn't like really notice it at the moment because he was very excited too. But other people around us like, whoa, what are you doing? Really, stop. And I was like, what? What's wrong? I don't think it was like a problem for me, but it was like a big thing for the other people around us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Interesting story. Anything?
I see. Well, for me, one big problem I experienced was about the food.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't eat spicy food.
But,
that's so cute.
I have like a really close Thai friend.
Okay.
And he cooks food for me most of the time. And it's really, really spicy. I mean, it's really good, but it's spicy.
Okay.
So, so I feel so spicy.
Okay, very good. Okay. Interesting story.
Yeah, interesting.
Let's talk a little bit more about when two people meet. For example, greetings, how people, Japanese bow, and anything else that comes to mind that's strange, or does it seem strange? One thing, when I first came to Japan, to see the announcers on TV news bow
What?
to the TV
strange?
screen. Yeah, it seems strange to me. I
actually agree with Joe there.
Really?
When I entered a Filipino school in the
Yes.
Philippines, like I was interviewed by the teacher.
Okay.
But I had the Japanese culture of bowing. So when I bowed, like he was like saying, "Oh, you're really, really Japanese." It's weird for us, but you're really Japanese.
Okay, good. Another thing, when two people meet, often they compliment each other.
Yes.
They show appreciation. Like, what do you think? Any experiences with other cultures compared to Japan or anything?
it's not like
like for example, Americans always say, "Great, you did great."
Yeah,
Anything?
that's true.
Or like Americans tend to say like, "Oh, I like your bracelet" or something. Like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Okay. That's how we
your
start
dress,
conversation.
yeah.
Right.
Like even to strangers.
Good. How about giving gifts? Anything different between other cultures?
One thing I was really surprised when I was in the United States. It was Christmas time, and of course a lot of people exchanged presents. And when I got present, I just ripped the wrapping really softly, and they like some of my friends just told me to do it more aggressively. And it was fun, but I felt kind of guilty to like rip the paper that roughly.
Yeah, Japanese people unwrap gifts like so like preciously. And it's like, no, that's not the part of the gift.
Right.
You can like just rip that up.
Maybe they would use it to the next gift.
Yeah.
Right.
Or sometimes the wrapping papers are so cute that we want to keep. So
That's
very
true.
good. Americans just tear it open. How about in the Philippines? Which
I
way
think
did
it's
they go?
the same with Americans. Like just tear it,
rip it
That's
off.
the fun part, like ripping it up.
Good.
so we're the minority.
Important thing is inside.
Yeah,
not the
inside.
outer.
Next, I have a very interesting question for all of you. How about dating and boy-girl relationships between different cultures? Have you ever... Are there any differences? For example, Japan, America, the Philippines, or any other cultures?
Well, in the Philippines, I see a big difference with the Japanese style of relationships.
Okay.
In Philippines, we have what we call as in Philippine language. It's in Filipino we call it ligaw, and I think it's the same with America. It's like courtship. Yeah, and you have to like court the girl for maybe like a short time would be a month. Like sometimes it will take a year before you become girlfriend and boyfriend.
What?
Yeah, and like the guy would give the girl gifts and flowers, and then like just waiting for the yes of the girl. And most of the time, Filipinos often do like serenading, like using the guitar to sing the
Singing
Yeah.
or something. Wow.
That's one culture
Okay.
I really love about the
Okay.
Philippines.
Anything about dating or anything?
Maybe this is the part where I leave the podcast because I don't have any experience. Thank you, everyone. No, I'm just joking, but I think for Japanese men, maybe my experience and experience for my friends is that they're very like soft. They like you can't tell if they really like you or they don't like you. It's like
True.
even for like messaging like guys. Like they don't ask you like if they want to go on a date. They're like, I think this movie is very interesting. What do you think? Or like, don't you think this restaurant looks really good and stuff like that? But
Go
for
eat?
for like Americans or Europeans, they'll just ask you on a date or like, what time are you free? They'll just ask you directly.
Or like Japanese people like asks girls to go on a date even though they haven't known each other. Like there is a word called hitomebore, first sight.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I
Like
sometimes
falling in love at first sight.
Yes. And I feel kind of strange about it. Like you guys don't know each other so much, but like why do you want to date with that person? Like people like fell in love gradually, right?
Yeah.
So I feel kind of like it's okay, but kind of weird, I think.
That sounds like a Disney movie.
Oh yeah, Disney, yeah, like Tiara syndrome.
Good. Unfortunately, we're almost out of time here. I have one more question for all of you, and I need to, if you can keep your answers brief, that would be good.
Okay.
What do you think is we've talked about kind of friction today, bad things. What do you think is the best thing that your culture has ever done for the world? For example, Japan or the Philippines or America. What do you think? The best thing your culture has given to the world? Very briefly. Anything?
Shinkansen.
That's one word. Really brief.
Right, the bullet train, it's called usually in other countries.
Okay, for my Japanese culture, mottainai. It's a very good way of thinking. And for America,
right, so in other words, that would be like don't waste things?
Yeah,
Is
don't
that
waste,
right?
yeah.
Okay, very good.
And for America, I would say hamburgers.
Hamburgers.
Okay.
Well, for me, I would really agree that Filipinos are really friendly. So I don't know for others, but I think a lot of people have Filipino friends. So I think it's the friendship for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yours is very
Yeah,
serious.
that's important. Good. And one more for America for me. I will say again the variety of American culture. So you've got all different types of music, movies, food.
Hamburgers.
Right. Yeah, Americans don't eat hamburgers all the time, right?
That's true.
Okay, everyone. We'll be back again next month to talk about one more time about friction between cultures. We hope to see you then.
Yes.
Take care.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye. いかがでしたか？文化の違いは摩擦のみならず、お互いへの影響も生みます。日本の文化について発信しながら、世界のたくさんの文化に触れていくことが、ますます大事になりますね。次回は3人のトークの最終回となります。それではごきげんよう。